Hi to everyone. Hi.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya O Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya O Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda.
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Bhakta-vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda.
Prabhu Nityananda
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Maybe we better go a little slow. It sounds like there's a little delay today. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama,
Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Jai Jagannath, Jai Mahadev. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo.
Gaura Haribo, Haribo,
Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Gurudev. Hi, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya Dev ki jai. Jai Giri Govardhana ki jai. Jai Mayapur Dham, Navadip Dham, Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Jai Yamunamai Gangamai ki jai. Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai. Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Institute ki jai. Jai Bhakti Vedanta Institute ki jai. Jai Kaul Premanandi.
Hari Hari Hari
All
Bol.
glories to the assembled devotees ki
Hare Krishna.
jai.
Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Maharaj, Muni Maharaj, all the devotees ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Now, I think...
Sound is coming little low, I think.
is it?
It's okay here in this computer, but maybe Shantamara's computer, some volume is low, I think.
Maybe. I think Radhakrishna
Coming
does
okay?
have a copy of Kirtan. Prabhu, Radhakrishna, you don't have the copy of Kirtan guide?
I have
Pocket?
it. I have it. I have it as a PDF file somewhere.
You have? All right. If you like to look at it, we're going to be chanting from there. Page 1, page, what is it, 38?
38.
38. And 38. Vandana. Vandeham. Shri Guru.
Sri Yuta
Kamalam,
Sri Guru.
Sri Guru Vaishnavam Cha
Sri
Sri
Rupam
Rupam
Sagrajatam
Sagrajatam
Sahagana
Sagana
Ranvitam
Raghunatam
Sajivam
Tam Sajivam
Advaitam
Advaitam
Sadvadutam
Savadutam
Parijana
Parijana
Sahitam
Sahitam
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Deva
Devam,
Sri
Sri Radha Krishna
Krishna
Padam
Sahagana
Sagana
Lalita
Lalita
Sri Vasakam
Visakam Cha
Om
Ganatimirandasya Yanangyana Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha
Puja
Sri Guru Bhargavandita Mahavamritaya Sada Purvarya Parampara Pracharita
Puja
Prayatramurta Kirite
Bhakti
Bhaktir
Nirmala
Nirmala
Nihara
Niharasya
Nivritam
Sarasakam Sadaram
Vande
Bhante
Shri
Sri Gurudeva
Gurudevam
Ananta
Ananta
Sira Acharya
Shiracharya Varamita
Niyam
Gorvabhista
Vista
Sapurika
Supurakam
Guru Ganaya
Guruvanekashisha Shaboshitam
Sindhya
Sindhya Chintya
Samastave
Samastavadeva Nipunam
Sirupa Patanugam
Papantanugam
Govinda
Govindavidam Jalam
Balam
Varatanum
Varatanum
Bhaktyambitam
Bhaktyam Vitam
Sundaram
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 Vande Vishwa
Bande Vishwa Gurun
Divya Bhagavan
Chadivya Bhagava
Prem Padam Devam
Devam
Divyatanam
Devatanum
Suchan
Suchandavadanam
Bharakachilam
Bharakachilanchitam
chitam
Sandrananda
Sandrananda
Puran
Puram
Sadekavaranam
Varanam
Raya
Bhajahya
Vidya
Vidya
Buddha
Buddhim Sri
Sri
Siddhanta
Simdu
Siddhanta
Bhakti Lasitam
Chittasitam Saraswatanam
Sarasvatanam
Param
Sarasvatanam
Vandetam
Vandetam
Subhadamadeka
Sudamrika
Saranam
Nashivaram
Asiswaram
Sridharam
Sridharam Sri
Sri Siddhanta
Siddhanta
Saraswati
Saraswati
Vidito
Vinito Gaudiya
Gaudiya
Guravaye
Gurvaye Bhatto
Bhattu
Manuvira Prabhata
Yogavidagani
Gagane Yogura
Yogura
Sankirtanai
Sankirtanai
Mayavada
Mayavada
Timilodara
Timilodara
Gatan Uditya Jivani Man Krishna Prema Sudabdi Gana
Krishna
Sukam
Prema
Prema
Sudadhigana
Radharamo Tam
Sukam
Bhaje
Radharabhum
Prabhu
Tambaji
Bhaji
Namo
Namo
Gaurkishwaraya
Gaurakisavaraya
Bhaktavaduta Murtaye
Bhaktavaduta
Bhaktavaduta
Murtaye
Gorangri
Gaurangiri
Padgaya
Padmagringaya
Radha
Radha
Baba
Baba
Nishevane
Sevane
Vande Bhakti
Vande
Vinod
Bhakti
Shri
Vinodam Shri
Gora
Gaura
Shakti
Shakti
Swarupakam
Swarupakam
Bhakti
Bhakti
Sastragya
Sastragya
Savrajam
Sambrayam
Radharasa
Radharasa
Sudanidhi
Sudanidhi
Gora
Gaura Vrayasti Sesai
Vaishnava
Vaishnava Vandya
Graham
Vigraham
Jagannatha
Jagannatha
Prabhum
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 Vande
Bande
Vande
Premadindri
Premadindridham
Amdin
Veda
Vaishnavam
Vaishnavam
Vanchakapataruvyascha
Tapatryubhyascha
Kripa
Sindhuvyeva
Sindhubhyaeva
cha
cha
Patitanam
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 Pavanebhyo
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 Vaishnavebhyo
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 Namo
Namaha
Namaha
Panchatatmakam
Makam
Panchatatmakam
Krishnam
Bhaktarupa
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 Swarupakam
Swarupakam
Bhaktarupakum
Bhaktavataram
Bhaktavataram
Bhaktakyam
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 Namami
Namami
Bhakta
Bhakta
Shaktikam
Shaktikam
Shaktikam Namo
Namo Mahavadhanaya
Mahavadhanaya
Krishna
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 Prema
Prema
Pradayate
Pradayate
Krishnaya
Krishna
Krishnaya
Krishna
Krishna Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Namne
Namne
Ame
Gaura
Gaura
Gorakshishe
Shri
Namaha
Namaha
Jayatam
Jayatam
Jayatam Suratur
Suratarupam
Pangur
Mamamanda
Mamamanda
Matera Gati
Materjati
Vatsarvasya
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 Padambujo
Ambojo
Radhamadana
Radhamadhana
Mohano
Mohano Divya
Navyandaranya
Vrindanya
Kalpadvata
Kalpajumada
Srimad
Adratnagada
Ranagada
Simhastanasto
Sri
Sri
Gandharva
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 Sri
Srila
Sri
Govinda Devo
Prestalivi
Prestalibi
Sevyamano
Sevyamano
Smarami
Smarami
Sriman
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 Rasarasarambi
Rasarasarambi
Vansivata
Amsivata Tatasita
Tatasita
Karsan
Karsan
Venu
Venu
Venus
Shanagopir
Venagopir
Gopinath
Gopinata
Shri
Shri Suna
Suna
Vrindaya
Vrindayai
Vrindanai
Tulasi
Tulasi
Devi
Devyai
Hare
Keshavasya Cha
Krishna
Krishna
Bhakti
Bhakti
Ifrade
Devi
Devi
Satyavati
Vachai Namo Namaha Satanatva Mantra Gurun
Gurun
Gurum
Bhagavata
Athartadam
Vyasa
Vyasa
Jagat
Jagat
Karunatva
Karunatva
Tato
Tato
Jayam
Jayam Udirayet
Udiraye
Jai Sapadika
Jai
Shri
Jai
Shri
Shri Shri
Guru
Sapadika
Guru
Shri
Ganga
Vaishnava
Guru
Gadava
Vrinda
Govinda Sundar Padma
Bhagavatam
Padmanam
Jai
Jayastu
Pada Padmanam Jayastu. Jastu.
Sri
Shri
Krishna
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 Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu
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 Nityananda
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 Shri
Shri
Nityananda
Advaita
Advaita Gadadhar
Gadadhar
Shri Vasadi
Vasadi
Gaura
Gaura
Bhatta
Bhakta
Bhaktavrinda
Vrinda
Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Rama
Rama
Hare
Hare Rama
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 Hare
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 Jai
Hare Krishna.
page 105 105 Amara Jivana Sara. Oh, you gotta mute your mic, otherwise I hear an echo. Amara Jivana Sara Papirata Nahika Punyera Leisha
Amara
Amaro
Jivana
Jivana
Sade
Sada
Pape Rata
Papiroto
Ahika Punyera
Esa
Lesa
Parera Udvega Diachi Ekata Diachi
Pare
Jivera Klesha
Pare
Pare Utvega Diya
Chije
Kata
Koto
Diya
Jiachi
Jive
Jive Klesha
Klesha
Nija Shuka Lagi Pape Nahidari Daya Hina Svarta Para
Niyasu
Nija Sukha
Kalagi
Lagi
Pape
Pape
Nahi
Nahi
Dari
Dori
Daya Hina
Dayahina
Swarta
Svarto
Para
Para
Para Suke Duke Sadamityabasi Para Duka Sukakara
Para Suke
Sukhe
Duki
Duki
Sada
Sada
Mityabasi
Mityabhasi
Para Duka Sukha Kara
Kara
Ase Shakamana Hridhi Mahi Mora Krodi Damba Parayana
Asesa
Asese
Kamana
Shamana
Dimaje
Hridimajemura
Mora
Rodidamba
Parayana
Parayana
Amara Mata Sada Vishaye Mohita Hingsa Garbha Vibhushana
Madana
Madhava
Mata Sada
Sada
Visaye
Vishaye
Mohita
Mohita
Hingsa Garbha
Hingsagar
Vibhushana
Vibhushana
Nidalasya Hata Sukarye Virata Arka Akarye Udyogi Ami
Nidralasya
Nidralasya
Hata
bhakti
Sukarye
sukarye
Virata
virata
Ye
akarye
Ujogi
ami
Ami
Pratistologia Satya Acharana Lobahata Sadhakami
Pratista Lagiya
Pratistalagiya
Satya
Satya
Charana
Charana
Lobahata
Lobhata
Sadhakami
Sadhakami
Ehena Durjana Sajana Parjita Aparadhi Nirantara
Edena Durjana
Edena
Sayana
Sajana Varjita
Aparadhi
Nirantara
Nirantara
Shubha Karya Sunya Ansaranartha Mana Nana Duke Jara Jara
Subhakarya
Suyata
Suyatana
Sadakamana
Nanade
Nanade
Jara
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 Ofada ke karna upaya vihina tate dina kinchana.
Bardakye Kana Upaya Vihina Tate Dina Kinchana
Bhakti vinoda prabhuda charane kara dukani vedana.
Bhakati Vinoda Prabhu Racharani
Charani
Kare
Kare
Dukha
Dukha
Nivedana
Nivedana
Omar jivan sara papirata nahika punyera lesha.
Amara
Amaro
Jivana
Jivana
Sare
Sada
Papirata
Papirata
Nahika Punyera Lesa
Arera urvega diachi ekata diachi jivera kaisa.
Parere Uvega Dia
Vega dia chije
Chijekata
kata
Dia Chijivere Klesha
Kesa.
Right, thank you, Bruce.
हाँ कुछ प्रॉब्लम है क्या?
What is that? You know what page? Yasumati Nanda? Yasumati Nandana? Anyone know the page?
16
16. Okay. And then Rasaraj Prabhu,
Yes?
would you like to sing?
Okay.
Thank you.
Jasomati Nandana Vrajavara Nagara Gokularam Janakana
Jasomati
Nandana
Rajabara
Nagara
Gokula Janaka.
Jasomati Nandana Vrajavara Nagara Gokularam Janakana
Jasomati Nandana Brajabara Nagara Gokula Ranjanaka.
Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara
Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara
Kaliya Namona Vidhana
Kaliya Damona Vidhana
Amala Hari Namami Avilasa
Amala Harinamiya Vilasa
Vipina Purandara Navina Nagara Pura Vansi Vadana Suvasa
Vipina Purandara Nagara Vangsi Vadana Suvasa
Jayayana Palana Sura Kulanasana
Brajajana Palana Sura Kulanasana
Nanda Godhanora Koyala
Nanda Godana
Govinda Madhava Navanita Dakshara
Govinda Madhava Navnita Taskara
Govinda Tatara
Govinda Madhava Tatara
Sundarananda Gopala
Sundarananda Gopala
Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Vatanahara Rasa Rasika Kripa Moya
Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Vasanahara
Radhika Kripa Moya.
Sri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natavara
Sri Radha Vallabha
Sri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natavara
Sri Radha Vallabha
Bhakti Vinoda Raya
Bhakti Vinoda Sahaya
Yasomati Nandana Brayo Varo Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana
Yasomati Nandana Brahmana Gokula Ranjana
Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara
Gopi Paranadana Madana Manahara
Kali Yadamona Vidhana
Kaliyadamana Vidhana I Devo Samadhinandana and Santa Maharaj, Santa Maharaj, can you hear? Santa Maharaj?
Yes, Maharaj.
Oh, you can hear?
Sound is coming little low, Maharaj.
It's coming low?
Yes, to me.
Oh, I don't know. Everybody else can hear okay?
Yes.
Yes. I think everyone else is hearing. Maybe your volume is low.
Yes, Maharaj.
Is it okay now?
It's okay, Maharaj.
Okay. Do you know the words Jaya Radha Madhava?
Yes, Maharaj.
You can sing?
Okay, Maharaj. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya
Jaya
Radha
Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha
Radha
Madhava
Thank you,
Jaya
sir.
Kunja Bihari
Jaya Gopi Janna Vallabha Jaya Girivara Dhari Jaya Girivara Dhari
Jaya Gopi
Jaya
Jana
Vallabha
Jaya
Giridharadhari Jaya Giridharadhari
Gopi Janna Vallabha Jaya Girivara Dhari Jaya Girivara Dhari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giridharadhari Jaya Giridharadhari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya
Jaya
Radha
Radha
Madhava
कुंज बिहारी
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya
Kunja
Bihari
यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जन रंजन जय ब्रज जन रंजन
Yashodanandana
Jaya
Jaya
Braja Jana
Ranjana Jaya Braja
Janaranjana
यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जन रंजन जय ब्रज जन रंजन
Jaya Yashodanandana
Sodanandana
Jaya
Jaya
Braja Jana
Ranjana
Jaya
Jaya Braja
Braja Janaranjana
जय जमुना तीरचारी जय कुंज बिहारी
Jaya Yamuna
Yamuna
Tirvanachari
Tiravanachari Jaya
Jaya
Kunja Bihari
जय जमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी
Jaya Yamuna
Yamuna
Tirvanachari
Tiravanachari Jaya
Jaya
Kunja
Bihari
Bihari
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी
Jaya Radha
Ramadhava
Madhava
Jaya
Jaya
Kunja
Bihari.
Bihari
Page.
He sings so beautifully.
Yes, they got a nice kirtan voice. Krishna. Page 29.
It doesn't matter because but he knows how to sing it properly, the melody, and he has a nice voice. Indian, like
Page 29. 29? You have?
29? What's
Page
that?
29. Page
What
20.
is the name of the song?
The name is
Parikrama. He say Gurudev.
Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya.
Oh, okay. No, I'm asking them. Sorry.
You know? Where's Ajay? Ajay Prabhu, are you still with us?
He's taking care of his kid.
Oh,
Use the bottom left screen.
okay. Then Muni Maharaj. What can you sing?
Dandavat Maharaj.
Can you sing that?
Okay, Maharaj. Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Karo ei dase Trinape Khauti Dino
Gurudev
Gurudev
Kripa
Kripa
Bindu Diya
Diyaya
Koro
Dase Trinapekshati
Ati
Dina
Dina
সকল সহনে বল দিয়া করো নিজ মানে স্পৃহাহীন
Sakala
Sakale
Sahane
Sahane
Baladiya
Baladiya
Koro
Koro
Nijamane
Srihahina
Spriyahina
সকলে সম্মান করিতে শকতি দেহনাথ যথাযথ
Sakale
Sakale
Samana
Samana
Korite
Korite Sakati
Sakati
Dehonath
Dehunath
Yatha
Jatha
তবে তো গাইব হরিনাম সুখে অপরাধ হবে হত
Tame
Nagaiva
Nagaiva
Harinama
Harinama
Sukhe
Sukhe
Aparada
Aparada
Habe
Hata
Hata.
তবে হেন কৃপা লোভিয়া এ জন কৃতার্থ হইবে নাথ
Kaveno
Kripa
Kripa
Lobya
Nabiyai Jana
কৃতার্থ
Kirtartha
হইবে
Vena
না
শক্তি বুদ্ধিহীন আমি অতি দীন করমরে আত্মসাথ
Sakti
Sakti
Buddhi
Buddhihina
আমি
Amiya
অতি
Didi
দিন করমরে
Karamore
আত্মসাত
Atmasata
যোগ্যতা বিচারে কিছু নাহি পাই তোমারও করুণা সার
Yogyata Vichare Kichunai Pai Tumara Karuna
সার
করুণা না হইলে কান্দিয়া কান্দিয়া প্রাণ না রাখিব আর
Karuna Hoile Kandiya
কান্দিয়া
Kandiya Pranara Kibo
আর
জয় জয় গুরু দেবা জয় গুরু দেবা জয় গুরু দেবা জয় গুরু দেবা
Jaya
Jaya
Guru
Guru
Deva
Deva
Jaya
Jaya
Guru
Guru
Deva
Deva
জয়
Jaya
গুরু
Guru
Deva
Deva
Jaya
জয়
Jaya
গুরু দেব
জয় গুরু দেবা জয় গুরু দেবা জয় গুরু দেবা জয় গুরু দেবা
Jaya
Jaya
Guru
Guru
Deva Jaya
জয়
Guru
গুরু দেব
Deva Jaya
গুরু
Guru
দেব
Deva
জয়
Jaya
গুরু দেব
Deva
Jai Gurudev Jai Muni Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Yeah, another good singer.
Another
We
good
have-
singer.
we
We have so
have
many
three
good
good-
singers in here.
We have three good singers.
Three
One
only.
in the USA and two in India.
They're all good singers
because they
Many
are all
people in
Bengalis.
because they're all Bengalis.
No,
Our
but you
best
know,
singer.
many people in India
Santa
become
Maharaj is
devotees.
Indian.
Rasaraj is not Bengali.
Maharaj, Venezuelans are very good singers and kirtaniyas.
Who?
Venezuelans and Colombians.
Venezuelans
And Colombians.
and Colombians. Oh, every devotee is a good singer, I think.
Yes.
Right.
India become so many people devotees by listening to American, singers.
Okay. Okay.
Preach.
Then now we're going to let another Bengali sing. Radha Krishna Prabhu. Do you know the Sri Guru Charana Padma?
Yes, Maharaj.
Page. Which page?
Page 54. Page 54.
Okay, I'm going to sing it from, hold on. 1 second.
Yeah, he's going to sing it from YouTube.
No, I go to KK songs. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma
Sri Guru Charana
Padma
Kevala
Bhakti
Sadma.
Vandamui Savadhanama Te
Ando Moisa
mate.
যাহার প্রসাদে ভাই এ ভাব তরিয়া যায়
যাহার প্রসাদে ভাই
ভাব
তরিয়া যায়
কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হয় যাহা হইতে
কৃষ্ণ
কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হইয়া হইতে
গুরু মুখ পদ্ম বাক্য চিতেতে করিয়া ঐক্য
গুরু মুখ চিতে করিয়া
না করি মনে আশা
করি মনে আশা
শ্রী গুরু চরণ রতি এসে উত্তম গতি
শ্রী
গুরু চরণে গতি
যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্ব আশা
প্রসাদে
চক্ষুদান দিল যেই জন্মে জন্মে প্রভু সেই
চক্ষুদান দিল যে জন্মে জন্মে প্রভু
দিব্য জ্ঞান হৃদয় প্রকাশিত
দিব্য
জ্ঞান হৃদয় প্রকাশিত
প্রেম ভক্তি যাহা হইতে অবিদ্যা বিনাশ যাতে
প্রেম ভক্তি হইতে অবিদ্যা বিনাশ যাতে
গায় যাহার চরিত
বেদ
যাহার চরিত
শ্রী গুরু করুণা সিন্ধু ধম জনার বন্ধু
শ্রী গুরু করুণা সিন্ধু ধর্ম জনার বন্ধু
লোকনাথ লোকের জীবন
লোকনাথ লোকের জীবন
আহা প্রভু কর দয়া দেহ মোরে পদ ছায়া
প্রভু দয়া দেহ মোরে পদ ছায়া
দেবে যাস ঘুষ ত্রিভুবন
দেবে
যাস ঘুষ ত্রিভুবন
দেবে যাস ঘুষ ত্রিভুবন
দেবে যাস ঘুষ ত্রিভুবন
Are there more lines?
Well, we have Eadamalaya Sarana.
Let's see.
Eyadham Loila Sarana.
Sorry, that's not in my line. Maybe you can sing that
I
one.
don't have it.
All right. Anyhow, we can just sing Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya
Jai Gurudev Ki.
No, officially 3 people from abroad are the best singers.
We're not voting. It's not a poll.
That's my vote. 'cause,
Your
like, I
vote?
like
Oh,
music.
Okay, okay.
No, you need to teach us.
Kusum is not there
I
today.
mean,
Kusum
like
Didi?
me and Chris.
Now, let's see. I'm going to let Inga sing. All right.
Maharaj, Kusum Didi is not joining today?
She's at the doctor. She's coming as soon as she comes back. She had to get some test.
Oh.
Let's see. Is she going to call you on your phone? Huh? She said she would call you now. She hasn't called. Okay. You can. Well, anyhow. Now, what else do we have here? Now I wanted to sing one song for Nityananda Prabhu. Merciful Lord Nityananda. Yeah.
Nitai Pada Kamalo.
I'm trying to. What page? 65?
I have a 7th edition, Maharaj. I don't know. Let's see.
Yes? What suggestion?
Maharaj, page 65 or 66. Maybe.
All right. What
66.
Radhakrishna Prabhu, what suggestion do you have?
Nitai Pada Kamala.
Yes, we're going to page 65.
Yeah. In my
Radha
edition,
Krishna
it's page
Prabhu,
122.
we shared the new edition on the chat here.
Okay.
The PDF is there.
Okay, I have the old one, 7th edition.
We have the one from 2013 on the chat.
Yeah. Can you send that to me? Oh, it's on
Yeah.
chat. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't see it.
It's there.
Anyway, it's there.
65?
Page 65.
Page 97.
Ajay Prabhu, do you know this song? Nita?
No, Prabhuji. I don't know.
Oh.
No.
What happened? Did we disconnect?
No, I can still hear you.
Everybody.
Did you get it?
Radha Krishna Prabhu, I sent you a private message with a Google Drive link.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
It's on page 65.
Yes.
Of the pocket edition.
Then, Rasaraj Prabhu, do you know that?
Yes.
Do you know this song?
Our local singer star.
What did she say?
Nitai pada kamala, koti chandra sushitala.
Nitai pada kamala, koti chandra sushitala.
Jechayaya jagata ujudaya.
Jechaya jagata judaya.
Ena nitai vinebai, Radha Krishna paitenai.
Ena nitai vinebai, Radha Krishna paitenai.
Dritha koridara nitai rapai. 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 Dritha koridara
Ida Kori
Se sambandha nahi jara Drita jamma gela tara
Se sambandha nahi jara
Se pasubada durachara Nitai na balila muke Majila samsara chuke
Nitai na Majila samsara suke
Vidya kule ki kari betara
Vidya kule ki karihara
Ahankare mato hoina Nitai pada pasariya
Ahankare matahoina Nitai para pasariya
Asatyare satya karimani
Asatyara satya kurimani
Nitayar karuna have Braja Radha Krishna pave
Nitayar karuno hobe Raja
Dara Nitayar charantu kani Nitaya charana satya Tahara seva nitya
Nitaya charana satya Tahara sevakanya
Nitai pada sadakara asa
Nitai pada
Narotama bhada dukhi Nitai more karasuki
Narotama bhada dukhi Nitai ore karasuki
Rakaranga charanira pasa Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Gaura Haribol.
Nitai Gaura Haribol, Nitai Gaura Haribol,
Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Gaura Haribol.
Nitai Gaura Haribol, Nitai Gaura Haribol.
Nitai Gaura Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Ajay Prabhu, would you like to read the English?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Prabhuji, I couldn't hear.
Would you like to read the English to this song, Nitai?
Sure.
Page 65.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Cool. Nitai lotus feet soothe the world with their shade. Oh brother, without Nitai, you cannot reach Radha Krishna. Firmly grasp Nitai's feet. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Continue reading.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, continue reading.
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji. In between, somebody is calling me, Prabhuji.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. Then, Zana, can you read?
Yeah. The life of one who had no connection with... Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The life of one who had no connection with Nitai passed in vain. Such an animal is very wicked. What will learning aristocratic birth do for one who was immersed in worldly pleasures and never called aloud Nitai?
Okay.
Maddened with pride, forgetting Nitai's feet, I accept untruth as truth. When Nitai bestows his mercy, you will reach Radha Krishna in Vraja.
Raja.
Raja. Grasp
Jai,
Nitai's
Nityananda
feet.
Prabhu ki jai.
Nitai's feet are truth, and his servants are eternal. Always aspire for Nitai's feet. Narottam is very sad. Narottam very sad. Oh Nitai, make me happy. Keep me beside your reddish feet.
Jai Nitai, Haribol.
Nitai, the jewel of all good. Huh?
No, that's it. That's it. That's the next.
Oh, that's it. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, very nice. Now, Krishna Keshav, would you like to sing Hari Raya? What page is that?
165.
Page 165?
160.
Hi.
Page 165.
Hari Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hari Haraye Nama
Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan.
Gopala Govinda Ram Madhusudan.
Giri Hari Gopinath Madana Mohan.
Giri Hari Gopinath Madana.
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra.
Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra.
Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath.
Jaya Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath.
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath.
Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath.
Ichaya Goshani Kari Charana Vandan.
Echaya Gosai
Charana Vandana.
Yaha Hoite Vigna Nasa Abhishta Puran.
Jai Vignana Samista Purana.
Ichaya Goshani Yara Muitara Das.
Echaya Gosai Jara Muitara Das.
Tasabara Padarenu Mora Panchagras.
Tasavara Padarenu Mora Panchagras.
Tadera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanevas.
Tadera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanivas.
Janame Mora Abhilas.
Janame Mora Abhilas.
Ichaya Goshani Yabe Vraje Kailavas.
Echaye Goswami Jabe Brajapalabha.
Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Karila Prakash.
Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Karila Prakash.
Ananda Bhale Hari Bhaja Vrindavan.
Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majia Mana.
Sri
Sri
Guru
Guru Vaishnava Pade Majayama.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pada Padma Kari As.
Sri Guru Vaishnava
Vaishnava
Padma
Padma
Nama Sankirtana Kahe Narottama Das.
Hari
Nam Sankirtana Kahe Narottama Das.
Hari Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hari Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya
Keshavaya
Keshavaya Namaha.
Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Go.
Sai Gaura
Hari Bol,
Hari Bol,
Hari
Hari
Bol,
Bol, Hari Bol.
We are not listening, Maharaj. Sound no sound.
Not hearing. Hare Krishna. Sorry. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bo.
Hari Bol,
Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. So, anyone have anything to report or to tell us?
Maharaj, I think it's ironic that they call this a stream right now because I see a bunch of lotuses on the screen.
Very
Cute.
cute.
Very cute.
Yeah.
Radha Krishna Prabhu, I am sorry I could not send you the answer. I will
No
send you
problem,
soon.
Maharaj.
I will
Take your
send you
time.
soon, okay?
Thank you.
So I'm reading from the Prapana Jivanamrita on the Life Nectar of the Surrendered Souls by Sridhar Maharaj. And then page, what is that? Page 9.
Which one, Maharaj, you are looking at?
Page 9 on Anukulyasya Sankalpa Pratikulya Vivarjanam. We read this last time. But,
I don't have it.
let
Which
me
book?
see.
Which book,
It's
Maharaj?
page 9 on the Prapana Jivanamrita.
Oh, Prapana Jivanamrita. Okay, Maharaj.
I'm going to be listening because like I don't have it.
Okay.
Huh?
We're gonna share. Krishna Kesava said he's gonna share it with everyone.
Now, Krishna Shiva, where are you going to send it to?
If you look at the messages to the Zoom group chat.
Okay.
On the Zoom, there is a small,
Yeah,
highlighted.
I got it.
yellow
I got
mark.
it. I got it.
Okay.
Just copy and then.
At the bottom of page, we're at the bottom of page 9. And at the bottom of page 9, it says, Anukulyasya Sankalpa Do you see that?
I copied and pasted, and it ends with equal sign and 1. When I paste it, it doesn't open, and
I won't open.
it doesn't.
On the PDF, it is 48, I think. On the PDF, it is 48.
Yeah,
But
well,
the page number on the paper is 9.
Yes.
yes, I understand. But the link, when I pasted the link in Google to open up, and it did not match any documents.
Oh.
Is it possible to send the file, Prabhu?
Wait a second, something.
I'm going to try that, Maharaj.
Now it opened up. Now it opened up. Okay.
Okay.
And I just need to go to the page. Which page you say?
The bottom of page 9.
Where is mine? 9. I don't see it here.
You have to type 48 on the like on the bottom number. That end comes to 9.
I will show you how it opens up. There are no
Rasras Prabhu had the
pages
hard
here.
copy.
No pages whatsoever.
No pages.
No pages whatsoever. I will send it now. Just a second. Krishna Das. I just send you the image. Maybe you can help me.
Hold on a second. I think Krishna, you were able to do it.
I just sent another Google Drive link, starting with HTTPS, ending with /view. That should bring you right to a PDF on Google Drive, and then that should have page numbers and everything.
Okay, let's see.
Can I send it to Jana on the Skype?
I'm trying to open now this one, because the other one, it had just text and no pages whatsoever. Now this one is with the pages. Okay.
9.
Yeah, the second one is with the pages. I just need to go down. Page 9, you said, right?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Okay. So at the bottom of page 9.
There's a lot of echo, Maharaj.
Yeah, now a lot of echo.
Okay, now it's okay. And then we just got to keep everything coordinated here. And on the bottom of page 9, it says in the Sanskrit, Anukulyasya sankalpa. You see that? Pratikulya vivarjanam. Rakshishyatiti vishvaso kopritve varanam tata. Atma nikshepa karpanye sadvida sharanagati evam parayayatas chasmin ekaikadyaya sangraha. Now here, the advice is being given to us. We have so many things to do in our life. Huh? Everybody has so much to do in their life. And if someone comes and says, all right, now you must surrender to Krishna. Okay, if you accept that, then what do? Somebody comes, says, Krishna tells us in Gita, Sarva Dharmam Parityajam Mame Kam Saranam. He says, surrender to me. Krishna's instruction in the Bhagavad Gita is like that. Surrender to me. Surrender. Krishna is saying, surrender to him. All right. So if we accept all that, if we have faith and we accept, oh, Krishna said this, then I must do it. But the question comes, now what must we do? How do we do that? Here, the advice is being given what to do. That's why this is very important. This is a very important instruction given by Rupa Goswami. So what does he have to do? Here it says, the whole book actually is about this. What does that mean, to surrender? And the examples of different devotees, the instructions of Krishna, so many things are there. Then what to do? What is it that we're actually supposed to do? What are the steps? What are the particular things that are meant to do in order to come to that point, following Krishna's instruction? So first of all, he says, all right, now you want to practice this surrendering to me, they call Bhakti Yoga. Then here's what we have to do. First thing, accept everything favorable for devotion to Krishna. All right. Then, second thing, reject everything unfavorable for devotion to Krishna. So, what does that mean? Well, everybody has ears, huh? So we're listening to so many things. Things that have nothing to do with Krishna, things that have to do with politics, things that have to do with entertainment. So many different things we hear. Just chit-chatting. So many things we talk about. Just wasting time or spending time, as we call it. And then there's hearing about Krishna. So hearing about Krishna is called Shravanam. And that hearing about Krishna is one of the 9 ways of engaging in devotion to Krishna. Of increasing your devotion to Krishna, one of the ways, beginning ways, is one of the ways is to hear about Krishna. When you're hearing, your ears are being used for paying attention, focusing, paying attention to Krishna. That's favorable to devotion. If we can train our ears to want to hear about Krishna, to learn about Krishna, that'll be very valuable for our developing our devotion. If we use our ears for other things, then that won't be so valuable. That'll help us meditate on other things. Not that you can't listen to other things, but if you do, that is not very favorable. That won't help you in your meditation or devotion to Krishna. Certainly, so many things have to be done in this world. That's okay to do all those things. But really, the most beneficial way of developing devotion is to hear. Use your ears for hearing about Krishna. Reading the Shastra, for instance, is also hearing. Shravanam, or talking about it yourself. Talking about Krishna. Chanting Hare Krishna. So many ways that your ears can be engaged, and your tongue also. By chanting, we are using our tongue and our ears. And like this, hearing is very fundamental and very simple process for engaging in things that are favorable, activity that is favorable for devotion. And so this will help us. Is there anything important? Good? No, okay. Then second, to reject everything unfavorable for devotion to Krishna. When we become interested in becoming Krishna conscious, making our consciousness aware. Consciousness means awareness. So when we're interested in making our awareness of Krishna increase, then we won't want to do things that are going to take away from that consciousness and get involved in other things that may not help in that meditation, that take us into meditating on so many other things. Not that we're not to meditate on other things, but at least some time we have to spend in trying to cultivate our Krishna consciousness. So that who is exclusive devotees, they want to do that. They want to meditate on Krishna. They want to focus. They're hearing, they're speaking, everything. They're seeing. How do you dedicate your eyes to Krishna consciousness? Looking at the picture of Krishna, looking at the pictures, seeing the devotees. So many ways that we can use our seeing, dressing the deities or offering flowers to the deities. So many different ways we can use our eyes, our ears. Our tongue is used in tasting the prasad or in chanting the holy names. And this way, we can cultivate surrender. This is surrender, or coming closer to Krishna. Then the third thing here is to be confident that Krishna will grant his protection to his devotees. Devotees are not so worried about so many things in this world. The coronavirus is one major thing that, we try to follow as much as we can, but we have confidence, even though we may follow like everybody else. Devotee is not afraid. He knows Krishna is there and he'll protect. He's not concerned with that. That much he knows. That doesn't mean he doesn't follow any precautions. That we must do, but at the same time, there's no fear that, what will happen to me? No, he is confident. Somehow or other, Krishna will protect if one is his devotee. And why not? He will. Krishna is there and his devotee is there, then some protection will come from Krishna's grace. And then, fourth, to embrace Krishna's guardianship. There's so many people giving advice to us, and our own minds are giving advice to us. So where do we turn? Sometimes we may not know what to do. Then what guidance do we have? And then we always look into the Shastra, we always look to Guru, we always look to the devotees to see what is it that we should or should not be doing. From there we can take some guidance. And then to offer oneself to him, this one who becomes completely dedicated wants to give his whole life, and body, mind, words, everything. He gives over to the service of the Lord, dedication to the Lord, and then to consider oneself lowly and bereft. A very humble mood must be there also. Devotee doesn't think, now I am a servant of God, I can go and do everything in the name of God. Some people are doing that, but not like that. Devotee never considers that he can fulfill God's will in this world. No, he is trying himself to come under that will, to submit and humble himself before that will, and always aspiring for that. He never thinks, I have it. I have God's will behind me, then I can do anything. No. Some people are like that, but that's not the humble mood of a devotee. Humble mood of a devotee is always feeling oneself unqualified and trying to aspire to follow that will, follow that process, and receive the mercy of the Lord. And so this book of surrender to, of the process of surrendering to Krishna is laid out. What Srila Maharaj is explaining here is that this book on the surrendering principles of Krishna consciousness are laid out in different chapters. Now he's explaining each of those chapters that are based on those six principles of surrender, plus some additional chapters. So he says, in the 9th chapter, entitled Sri Bhagavat Vacharamrita, means the words of nectar from the Supreme Lord. Bhagavad is the Supreme Lord. Vacha is the words, and Amrita, the nectar. The words of nectar from the Supreme Lord, nectarian stanzas emanating directly from the lotus mouth of the Supreme Lord, have been compiled. The 9th chapter is about that. 6 chapters are about the different branches of surrender, and then the 9th chapter is about this. Then Dasabe Charamadhyarye Chavashe Samrita Bidi Guru Krishna Smarto Grantha Syopasam Haranam Kritam. Absorbed in thought of the Divine Master and Lord Sri Krishna, the 10th and final chapter, entitled Sri Avasheshamritam, the Divine Remnants of Nectar, was composed as the epilogue of the book. Udritya Shloka Purvetu Tadartha Suprakashakam Vakyam Chayanatas Tatra Yata Jnanam Nivesitam. Prior to each stanza quoted, an aphorism illuminating its inner purport has been carefully entered according to my best insight. So we'll see a little line in Sanskrit usually that expresses what the gist of each sloka is, that are taken from the scriptures generally, and each sloka is then summarized sort of in a concise form by this one line commentary on each sloka. So it's very nice in that way. You can read the book with a little understanding, insight into each sloka that is given. Then Bhagavad Gaurachandranam Vananendu Siddhatmika Bhakto Vesita Shloka Bhakta Bhavodita Yatha. Then being revealed by the Lord himself, adopting the heart of a devotee, the stanzas of pure nectar emanating from the moon of Gaurachandra have been entered along with the stanzas of the devotees. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, who came as a devotee. Krishna told us so many instructions as Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. But what is because we are very fallen, it's hard for us to follow what the Supreme Lord is saying. So the Supreme Lord comes as a devotee to show us, what does a devotee think? How does a devotee act? How does a devotee follow Krishna's instructions? That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach us how to be devotee. Not only does he give us instruction to become his devotee, but he also comes as his devotee to give us instructions how to be that devotee to Krishna. What more can he do? Not only telling us that we must come to him, but he's also showing how. So this teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are very valuable to us. They can teach us how to develop that Chaitanya. Chaitanya means consciousness itself. How to develop that consciousness. Krishna Chaitanya. How to develop that Krishna consciousness. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching that by not only his words, but his example also. So much help is being given to us. And yet people don't understand. People don't want to follow. They don't want to listen. What to do? Prapatya saha chanyanya bhaktir naikatya hetutaha ananya bhakti sambandham bahu vakyam ihodritam. Many expressions of exclusive devotion, ananya bhakti, have been recorded herein, since exclusive devotion is most intimately related to surrender. Then Bhagavad Bhakta Sastranam Sambandho Sti Parasparam Tat Pradhanyato Namnam Pabeda Karanam Smritam. Actually, words of nectar from the Supreme Lord, words of nectar from the devotees, and the nectar of scriptural word are all seen to be interrelated. Still, they have been portrayed separately due to their individual importance. So here, is explaining how nicely this book is laid out, you see. There's the 6 limbs of devotion, that's 3 chapters. And then there's the Lord's words about surrender. There's the words from the devotees, and there's the words of the scripture. The words that the saints have realized, like put down in the scripture, and the words of the devotees of the Lord and the words of the Lord. All 3 chapters are put in separate chapters here, so that we can have a clear understanding of who is saying what. But they're all related. Not that the devotees' words and the Lord's words or the words of the scripture are any different from one another. They're all telling the same basic idea, giving the same message. But yadhyaya visheshastu tatra tatraiva vakshite mahajana vicharasya kinchit alochite duna. The unique characteristic of each chapter will be accordingly expressed therein. Now, in this respect, we may have some general deliberation in the line of great devotees of the Lord. Vastu Nirnaya. This is the comment Srila Maharaj gives. Vastu Nirnaya means the theme of the work. Bhagavad Bhakti Tas Sarvam It Yudrishya Vidir Api Kai Kanaryam Krishna Padaika Shrayatam Sharanagati. Being governed by the faith that all success is achieved by serving the Supreme Lord, to abandon servitude to even scriptural injunction and take exclusive refuge in the lotus feet of Sri Krishna in every time, place, and circumstance is known as Sharanagati, unconditional surrender. This is very revolutionary, huh? This verse describing what is that Sharanagati. What is surrender in its fullest and the most highest sense? That one must go even beyond Shastra, scripture. Are you ready to do that? To know Krishna. Not that you study the scriptures and you say, well, I know now what God is. That's not. Even Krishna tells in the Gita itself, the Sarvadharmam Puraja, give up all this religion. He's telling so many things in the scripture. And then he says, give up all this religion. Sarvadharmam Puraja. They don't need all this religion stuff. I'll sacrifice all those things. That's all for Dharma. That's for people who don't know anything, who need some guidance in their life because they're foolish. No, they give them some instruction here. This is the direction you have to go in. Shastra point in the right direction, but they don't give you the destination. You can't get to the destination by just scripture. You must know what is the destination, what is the goal of the scripture. That is to love Krishna, to submit to him, surrender to him. But that can only come by having your direct relationship, a positive relationship with Krishna. Some kind of connection with that world. Direct connection, of course, is impossible for us, but we can have some connection through the devotee, the guru. So that instruction is there. That not the scripture that you must be always thinking about. The rules, the regulations. That's there to give us direction, to guidance. Like you have a compass that shows the north. You want to go in the north direction, you have to follow the compass. Compass is there for that purpose, but it's not the goal. Where you're going to, that's the goal. What is that called? Prayojana, the goal. Well, the guidance to the goal and the goal itself. Thank you. Not necessarily the same thing, although in this case also on the absolute platform even, the path and the goal are the same. Anyhow, We discussed this last time also, that if the law is not to go in the king's chamber, servant is not to go in the king's chamber when he's in there. He can go after when the king is not there to clean and so forth. When the king is there, the servant must stay out. Only the ambassadors and big people must go in the palace when the king is there. Then, but however, if someone is attacking the king and the servant is seeing that, some mischievous minister is coming to take advantage of the king, even to kill the king, and the servant is seeing that, he doesn't follow the law and say, oh, I can't go in the palace room when the king is there. That's the law. Huh? It doesn't say, oh, the law is that I can't go in there and follow the king. No, he goes and tries to save the king's life. That is a more important thing. A higher thing. Or I gave the other example when the Narada Muni, Krishna told Narada Muni, I have a headache. I need some dust from the feet of my devotees. Then Narada went to the Brahmins. Brahmins are very strict about following all the rules of the Shastra. Then he told those Brahmins, Krishna needs some dust from his devotees' feet. He has a headache. Can you give it? And I said, no, of course not. How we can give feet from our dust, how can we give dirt from our feet to Krishna? That is against Shastra. That is against all the principles. That won't be right. That will go to hell if we do something like that. So they're thinking in terms of the scripture, and so they would not do something that would be against that. But then he went to the gopis and they said, sure, we'll give you the dust from our feet if that's what Krishna wants. If that will help him, we'll do it. And then Narada said, but aren't you afraid we'll go to hell? And they said, we don't care. If that's what Krishna wants, then we're ready to do that. If he wants to send us to hell, that's up to him. But if he says this is what he wants, we are ready to do it. Although the scriptures say, no, you should never put your feet on the head of the Lord. Gopi said, yes, take the dust, the dirt from our feet. Give it to him. If that's what he wants. Like that. So there's something higher than scripture. Krishna himself. And to have that relationship with the Supreme Lord, that is surrendered mentality. And that's what this is explaining here. Unconditional surrender. Not depending on gyan. Shrinvantaryami tam drisva hare sambandhato kile apratag bhavatadristi praptir jnana bhaktitaha. Some consider Sharanagati to be that God consciousness, which is realization of the one non-differentiated nature in all beings and objects, by seeing the Supreme Lord as the indwelling supersoul of everything. However, such conception falls within the category of calculated devotion. It is not the line of unadulterated devotion, Shuddha Bhakti. Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Karma Mishra Bhakti, and Shuddha Bhakti, Jnana Shunya Bhakti. Jnana Shunya Bhakti is Shuddha Bhakti, without even any consideration of calculation. Like that. Unadulterated. So what does that mean? To see the Lord as the indwelling supersoul of everything. See Krishna within everything, within everyone.
Vasudev conception.
Huh?
Vasudev conception.
Why is that not considered pure?
Because Maharaj, it is not developing a personal loving relationship. It is just a broad understanding. A relationship is not so much concrete there.
Why?
Because there is no exchange is going on.
Huh?
No personal exchange is going on. I mean, just seeing Krishna, but service is not fully manifesting there.
Anyone else like to give some interpretation?
I think, Vinod Maharaj,
What?
in that conception, like Vasudev conception, that is Krishna in himself. But Krishna for himself has not yet developed. That means Krishna's interest, desire, wishes, and that comes through the personal conception. That means through the devotees. So when the relationship with Krishna, that is Vasudev conception, means he is purified of the material side, and also the desire to merge into impersonal Brahman. But it has the personal conception is still developing there.
Okay. What else? Anyone can say anything else? Thank you.
I don't know if it's correct or not, but what I feel, if it's just like if somebody sees Krishna in everything, it's just.
Can you speak into the microphone closer?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Thank you.
What I feel if somebody, like what you say, if Krishna, to see it, Krishna is in everything, it dilutes everything. Because when I feel a connection to Krishna through my guru, it is more concentrated, the feeling.
Okay.
This is what I feel.
Okay. All right. Anyone else?
It's just the same as like you would take a like any kind of a powder, let's say coffee or whatever, right? And you put it into a glass, 1 scoop into a glass of water. So you will have a concentrated drink, very concentrated.
Yeah.
And if you try it, it's really, really strong. But if you put it into a huge barrel of water, the same spoon, it's in every molecule there, but you can barely sense it. That's how I feel it.
Okay. Very nice. Then anyone else?
Maharaj, actually, the seeing Krishna everywhere, like the Jnani see, and the way the devotees of Vrindavan, they are seeing also Krishna everywhere. When Krishna like externally left Vrindavan, he went to Mathura, and also they are seeing Krishna everywhere. There seems to be some differences there. Here, the Jnani is seeing Krishna through some Jnana Mishra with some knowledge-based, vision. But the vision of the Vrindavan devotees is everything related to service. They are seeing everywhere Krishna in relation to his service, with his service.
One more thing can be, I think, discussed.
Yes?
It is a question of faith, Maharaj. That is, in Jnana Mishra Bhakti, the faith is not so strong. That means the person is still thinking that let me do a test or something, and then I will take a step. But in the devotee stage, that is, there's a complete faith because of the development of pure Krishna consciousness. So whatever Guru says or higher devotee says, he's going by that, but he's not putting his own considerations into that. Like, for example, if the cows of Vrindavan are telling that we will drink the water of Jamuna because we know that you will protect us. That's why we'll drink that water. So something like that. That means something beyond the ordinary movements of time or space or laws of nature, something beyond that, and they have faith in that because it is connected to the devotional service of Guru and Gauranga.
Okay. Anyone else?
So Maharaj, I have a question as well as a comment.
Well, oh, wait. Okay. Can you answer the question first? then we can ask your question.
Yes. So what Nishkam Santa Maharaj and Muni Maharaj saying, they were talking about the Vasudev conception. To me, it seems like that's the Brahmabhuta stage. If I'm not
Okay.
sure if that's correct. Brahmabhuta prasannatma nasachitana kankshati.
Yes.
Tamo sarveshu bhuteshu madbhakti lavate param. Brahmabhuta platform is the actual launching pad for going deep into devotion. It is just the preliminary stage.
Okay. But he is talking about super soul, not the Brahman conception.
No, but the Brahmabhuta prasannatma, that person realizes that super soul is also within the heart, but he doesn't have a deep personal relationship with Krishna.
I see. Okay.
He enters into
I
bhakti,
understood
that
it
platform.
different, but no problem. All right, if that's your understanding. Now then what is the difference? Why is that not unadulterated devotion? Why is that not Shuddha Bhakti? What is the difference? That's
Because
the
Maharaj, there seems to be no interest of Krishna is involved there.
No, okay. Anyone else have any other input?
Because pure bhakti is defined as anya vilasita sunyam, jnana karmadi anamritam.
Yes.
And that is lacking.
Okay.
There are some other desires there. Some subtle desires are there.
According to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in the Bhagavad Gita, there are 3 stages, 3 truths are there. First is that one has a faith that I am a soul, Atma. Then he has the faith that there is Supreme Lord. And then beyond that, he develops a faith in the devotees. So when he develops faith in that type of devotees, it's called Prema Bhakti. But when he's having faith only on God, that is not yet Prema Bhakti. And when he's only on the platform of Atma, then he may be a karmi, a jnani, or a yogi. So that means the conception of self is still dominating him, but the transcendenting the self, that means something higher than the higher ground than the self, has not yet developed to the required extent. So I think it's something like this, it seems to me.
Okay. Rasaraj Prabhu, do you have anything to say?
Well, you understand that the realization is like in 3 different steps: sat-cit-ananda, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavanti, Satyate. So the conception of super soul is only the second one, the Brahmeti, but there is no Ananda there. That approach to Krishna, to that feeling of a relationship, is not in that level.
Okay.
So it's the concept. The ultimate conception is Ananda. Krishna is Ananda. It's completely a spiritual bliss.
All right. Then what is the difference between, let's say, Vaikuntha realization of Krishna and Vrindavan realization?
Humility is developed more strongly in Vrindavan.
But in Vaikuntha relationship, do you want to say something?
Maharaj, you have told that in Vaikuntha there is illusion that the residents of Vaikuntha, they have the conception that Krishna is God. But that illusion is also not there in Vrindavan.
Okay.
And they are completely related to Krishna with pure love, not with any conception of God as revealed in scripture in that way.
Yeah. Well, if you see that Krishna is within everything, within everything, then you still see everything. You're seeing everything as different from Krishna, but you're seeing Krishna is within that. That's one.
Maharaj, I think in Vrindavan, it is full of madhurya, whereas in Vaikuntha, there is some marjada there. There is some feeling that he's my master, I'm his servant. That Lord Vishnu is my master, I must bow down to him. he is my servant. In Vrindavan, that kind of feeling is completely lacking. It is totally spontaneous. In Vrindavan, the residents don't even know that Krishna is God.
Yes.
They're so much in love with him.
But I'm saying that in the super soul realization, then you see Krishna within everyone and everything. That means you still see everything, but you see Krishna within. So there's some mixture there. You see everything, but then you see Krishna within that. Means you see Krishna and everything at the same time. Right? Understand? Vasudeva means everything is Krishna, but you see everything, therefore. That is not Krishna, and Krishna within that. Something like that. There's a mixture. When you see Krishna within, that which is within is not Krishna. But then, like for instance, when the gopis saw the trees, the tamal trees, they didn't see the tamal trees. They saw Krishna. Understand? They went and embraced those trees like it was Krishna. They didn't see Krishna within the tree. They saw the tree as Krishna. The blackish tree reminded them of Krishna, and immediately they embraced that tree. And it's not like the tree huggers of this environmental movement. But they saw Krishna. So the child, baby Krishna, that when the devotees see the baby, they think he's a baby. But they don't see it as a baby, they see it as Krishna. So it's not like you, sometimes we may see our children, Krishna is within them, but we're seeing the children, and then we see Krishna. Understand? There's a difference in the consciousness. Those who see Krishna within everything, and those who see Krishna within and without. That is Vrindavan. In Vaikuntha, they see Krishna, but as they're superior to themselves. Still, they see some difference. But in Vrindavan, Krishna is just like with them. They feel Krishna is just like me, my friend, my son, my lover, whatever. They don't feel any difference. So Brahma Bhuta stage something like that also, but there it's all Brahman. There's no relationship. Brahma Bhuta, that's the meaning, Brahma Bhuta. We're all spirit, Brahma. But in Vrindavan, there's ordinary dealings, but everything is seen in the vision of Krishna, in the Krishna consciousness, all Krishna consciousness mood. I remember once Prabhupada told about when the World War II wasn't coming to Calcutta. He told, they asked him, aren't you afraid you're going to get killed here? The bombs are coming. And Prabhupada told, Krishna in the form of a bomb is coming to kill me, no problem. He could see Krishna in the form of a bomb. That is Krishna coming to me, not a bomb. Then I have, what fear do I have? What kind of vision he had, you see? I remember he once told in New York, he told them, when you see a truck, you see a truck coming. When I see a truck, I see Krishna coming. How is it possible? All right. So the intensity, yes, intensity of focus on Krishna is there, of concentration on Krishna is there so much. The devotee does, all other things are obliterated. All other consciousness is finished. All other consciousness, finished. That is full Shuddha Krishna, Shuddha consciousness. Vishuddha Sattva. Shuddha, pure. We don't understand what that is because our consciousness is conditioned by material existence. So many material things we see, we conceive ourselves in the material world with so many things there that have no relation to Krishna. But the pure consciousness, the purified consciousness, the Krishna consciousness, there's a different stage. Not ordinary, cannot be understood from any ordinary conception. A purely transcendental and pure Krishna consciousness. And come to that stage is difficult, not easy to come to that stage. How much intensity must be there in the devotee's heart to come to that stage, to not want to see anything but Krishna, to reject everything that is not bringing his mind, his attention, his everything, whatever he has, to that stage of pure Krishna consciousness. How much intensity is there? We cannot imagine with our mundane feelings, our mundane thoughts, our mundane lives. But that is the yoga practice. Who can come to that stage? That by practice of that Bhakti Yoga, it is perfect practice. Then they can maybe understand something of that to some degree. But how much of our own minds are contaminated with so many non-Krishna things? That is the measure of our progress in Bhakti Yoga. Then, Mahuni Maharaj, what do you want to say?
Like in this context of what you have been discussing.
Yes.
Like once Hegel used to speak about world spirit. Like when Napoleon entered Berlin, he said he saw the world spirit coming as Napoleon in Berlin.
Yes.
So is this type of conception is like world spirit, something it looks like to me as Paramatma conception.
Yes.
And mixed with the world conception. But then Hegel also talks about absolute as the subject. So do you think there is some kind of development in Hegel also? May not be to the extent of Krishna consciousness that is discussed in...
Everything is there in Hegel that we are teaching also, but no rasa is there, huh? He doesn't know anything about rasa, taste. He knows the absolute truth is by itself and for itself. As Sridhar Maharaj told, two things are there, huh? He understands and he teaches in his philosophy. Die to live. Die to live means that the finite being, finite self, the finite human being, or finite anything, that doesn't have any real existence on its own. He told finite negates itself. Finite is a negation of itself. That in the birth of something, there is also the seed of death. Anything that is born, they will die also. Death is there in the finite. Finite means that death is there. That will come to an end. That isn't finite. So finite means doesn't have any permanent existence. It doesn't have any permanent existence. Then what is the permanent? Well, there are two things. There's the finite and infinite. Finite has a negation of itself. Then what is the infinite? Well, what does the word infinite mean? Do you know, Puni Maharaj?
Negation of the finite.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You see? Negation of the finite. Finite is negating itself. And the infinite means the non-finite or the unfinite. Yeah. Or the negation of the finite. So
it becomes for infinite? Finite become for infinite?
Finite and infinite are not. They're the same. Finite and infinite are the same.
No, I'm saying finite when it is trying to have its own, what you can say.
No, it thinks itself infinite. It thinks it doesn't have, it's not going to die. But this is a wrong conception. He doesn't know. is going to die. So this death, dying to live, this is the finite position. Finite and the infinite is also the negation of the finite. Finite and infinite have the same definition if we think about it. Negate, but see, the infinite is the thing that is actually existing because it exists as the negation of the finite. That is what we mean by the infinite. It exists already, but not as some kind of static thing set against the finite, but as the negation of the finite. In other words, finite is always dying. That's the nature of finite. It's always dying. But what is it dying for? It's dying to be part of the infinite. That's the nature of the infinite. It is situated within the infinite as always negating itself. That is called service. The negation of the finite, the dying of the finite is called serving. That's what we call service. That we call devotion. That we call giving, surrender. So it's there in Hegel. He knows, he understands very well. We are meant to be for the infinite. Our existence is for the infinite only. It has no separate existence from that. That separate existence is an illusion that we think we're the infinite, but we don't have any permanent existence and on our own. Our own existence is to serve, to be for the infinite, and in a negative sense of giving ourselves, giving up, sacrificing ourselves. That is an infinite. Yet, in his philosophy, he doesn't say anything about the taste, the rasa, that what is involved in that relationship with the infinite. He doesn't tell anything. Only the philosophical, ontological aspect he gives. But the taste that's involved, the relationships of sonhood, friendship, like that, of love, he understands those things are there, but he doesn't bring that out. That is only found in our Vaishnava literature. And what is that? What is that taste that is going on there? What is that is driving all those things, that is relishing, that is nectarian in all those things? He just gives the dry
Maharaj?
philosophical understanding. Yes?
I have seen, even in India, whenever I attend any philosophical conferences, they speak even Eastern philosophy, but they don't really into that in a Eastern philosophy. I mean, living a life, but I think Hegel lived a life with philosophy. The philosophy that being discussed generally in the academic circle at present, but that is being not practiced by them.
No. Yes, it's very hard because philosophers, they don't understand the negative, but a negation. Just as a scientist, everyone is positivist. They're all positivists in this age. It means they all see the empirical world only. They can't understand the world that is negative. Behind this positive world, there's a negative also. And to enter into that conception is difficult because they're so attached to the positive, the empirical, the sense world. But there's also another behind that, that is equal to that, and greater than that, and that negates this world. Positive world is negated by that, the negative world. And that's what is giving the life to the positive world. Positive world has no life on its own. Life, if the positive world is all that exists, that is the Mayavad conception, actually. That all being. Being is being, that's all. But the world is not just merely being. If the world were being, mere being, it would be boredom, complete boredom. There's change, there's negation, and that is life. The life is the negation.
Dynamic.
Huh?
It's dynamic.
Dynamic, living. Dynamic. Negation is always there, change. In this world they call Jagad in Sanskrit. Jagad means to go, Jaya.
Coming and going.
Go, to move. So this negation is very important if we want to understand life. But it's not only negation. This is a mere philosophical conception. There's also some taste involved, rasa. Something is there behind all these philosophical, epistemological, and ontological considerations. There's something that they don't reach by philosophy. But they experience it, although they don't talk about it. Although in Greek philosophy, we find some discussion of eros and other things like that. Eros, eroticism. They discuss those things in a philosophical way. Because there in that world also there is some feeling, some enjoyment, some taste, some experience of relationship with God, with Krishna. So those things are hidden to anyone who doesn't want to inquire about those things, who remains satisfied with just a positive world and doesn't look into the negative side of existence. That which is based upon surrender and devotion and giving, self-giving, not only to one another, but to the Supreme Person, the Supreme Self. Hare Krishna.
Hare
All right. Anything? Radha Krishna, you have a question?
No, I think I'm kind of forgetting. Did you talk at one time? I have one question. I see a lot of devotees, Maharaj, when something is not going right, for example, some family member is sick or some devotee has passed away, they're saying, oh, let us pray for them or let us chant for them. And I have some doubts about whether this is a proper thing to do for a Vaishnava. What is your understanding of this?
Yes, you can do that. You can do that. No problem. We don't say you can't do that. But ultimately, we understand. If Krishna wants to take us, what can we do? It's up to him. And we don't want to force Krishna to be in what we want. We don't think like that. But anyhow, we're human beings and we have feelings like that for one another. And so we want to pray for them. That's not bad because we're remembering Krishna at least. We're still remembering Krishna. But, it may be possible sometimes the devotee is very unattached and he knows, all right, this is Krishna's will. Then I have to accept that. What to do?
Even Mahaprabhu chanted, Maharaj, by holding the body of Haridas Thakur.
Yes. I think of when Prabhupada came to this country, he was on the ship and he was not praying for his own life. He knew he was offering his life, sacrificing his life, come here, but putting his life in danger. He had heart attack, everything. But he wasn't praying, dear Lord, protect me from all these things. He was praying, no, he coming here knowing that he was going to suffer all these things and that his life was in danger. And he put himself in that position. But with the faith that, Krishna, you want me to do this? I'm coming. I'm doing what you want. I'm doing what you want. I'm not coming here for my own pleasure to see what America is like. He was coming at his guru's order to go and preach there to these people. Despite the danger to his own self. So he wasn't praying like that, but he's only praying, Krishna, if this is what you want, then then you can make me successful. You can take my life, whatever. But I am trying to fulfill your wish. But anyhow, in the case of another devotee, then a devotee always considers not that he just lets them go without any concern. No, he thinks I have to try to help. I also have to try to help to save a devotee. Just like when a devotee is attacked, then Krishna is concerned that he not be put into difficulty. And not that he just says, okay, let that devotee go to hell. No, he's concerned with his devotees. That let me take care, let me protect him from this demon or whatever. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya. Krishna himself was telling, I come to protect my devotees. And we should also understand And we must try to protect. For ourselves, we don't care, but for another, we care. Not even for ourselves, we also care, because how will I manage to serve Krishna if I don't protect myself? So to protect oneself in the service of Krishna, there's also service. All like that. Always thinking of serving, though, not just to have a private life and to protect that for one's own self-enjoyment. But for the sake of service, we'll do everything. Anyhow, yes. Who else had a question?
Maharaj, I was
Wait a
remembering.
minute. I think Jana said something.
I wanted to say, like, when I was watching the movie, that I really got the sense of what you were talking about when he came to the States. How difficult. You can hear me?
Yes.
That how difficult it was to him, and I, like, with my soul, I really felt that he was doing what Krishna sent him to do, even though it was just totally unbearable for him being in the States.
Yes. Then, Radha Krishna Prabhu, is that okay for you?
Yes, Maharaj.
Then, Shanta Maharaj?
Actually, when you were saying, Maharaj, about Prabhupada, that he took difficulty to come America, then I was remembering in many of his purports also, he writes many times that a devotee puts himself voluntarily in difficulties. So it seems to be like the mood of Kunti Maharani also praying like that.
Yes, yeah.
And Sripad Maharaj also was telling that they wants to put difficulties to have Krishna's attention.
So basically, if we pray for something for the sake of a devotee, not for ourselves, then is also considered devotion. But generally, we don't try to demand anything from the Lord. We're the servants. We want to be the servants of Krishna. We want to cultivate that mood, that mentality, and try to see everything within that conception. But naturally, there's feeling of compassion for others, compassion and wanting to help one another.
So some family member passes away and the devotee holds a congregation or a chanting session, chant Hare Krishna.
Yes.
That is fine to do that, right?
Very nice. Okay. Of course. Of course. I want that. There's a chance for everyone to become more Krishna conscious at the time of death. Then everyone can realize they're also temporary, and there's something more to life than just living and then just dying like any other creature of this world. There's more to it than that. So chanting Hare Krishna, doing puja, whatever, we get some understanding of something higher. Good opportunity like that to meditate deeply on what is the meaning and purpose of our life. Anyhow, we have to use our intelligence nicely. Basically, to use our intelligence. Don't just follow blindly something, but try to understand things in a nice way and do what we think will help us in our Krishna consciousness.
I see this a lot, Maharaj. On the internet, some devotee says, "Oh, such and such devotee has cancer. Please pray for him." Or such and such devotee has this.
Yes.
That's why I was wondering.
Yes, it's okay to do that, definitely. We're concerned with the devotees' well-being.
Maharaj, actually, one of the practice of Bhakti Yoga, it is being told that one has to develop attachment towards devotees. That's why when a devotee comes, one goes to receive him. And when one devotee is going, one also going behind him to see him off. And Mahaprabhu himself used to practice that when he was in Jagannath Puri. He used to go with garland and with kirtan and receiving them at the border of Puri, Otranala. And when they are leaving also, he was going with that mood to leave them. So it seems that, everything to do with developing attachment towards devotee.
Yes, I think that's very good.
So Maharaj, it seems the conclusion is that seeing everything, seeing Krishna in everything, and seeing Krishna's, that is according to the pure unalloyed devotion, seems like a difference. And it seems to me the difference is about the separate interest and the interest of Krishna. It seems to me that is the difference.
They are, as I said, mixed. That if we can see Krishna and everything else, then there's mixed Krishna consciousness. We're conscious of other things and conscious of Krishna at the same time. But somehow the devotee is conscious only of Krishna. And that it never forgets for a moment. It has nothing else that he concentrates on.
Like you said, when the gopis see Tamal Vriksha, they see the tree as Krishna. So,
that we can understand. In the conditioned state, who can understand that? Condition means we are in material consciousness. We have some material consciousness. And then we are also thinking of Krishna. But in that higher plane, they have no other conception. Hard to imagine. But that is based on that lauyam. Intense greed, intense eagerness to be with Krishna, to serve Krishna, to love Krishna. That can transform one's life in a different way, transcendental way. But that must be authentic also. We cannot just imitate that.
It's a very high conception.
So any other questions now at 3:30? It's so nice seeing you all. I don't want to leave.
Maharaj, one devotee, his name is Purushottam from Utah, our temple.
Which one?
Purushottam.
Purushottam, okay.
Yes, from Utah.
Okay.
He asked me what our institute has to say about the present situation about corona all over the world. What is the scientific explanation about that, or what our institute message is about, he says.
Everything happens for some reason. We know that much. That's scientific point of view. Whatever happens is for some reason. It's called karma. We call that karma. So what has been going on in the world, that is the cause of what is going on now. So our understanding is that I like that what Sridhar Maharaj once told. I think I posted that on our Facebook page. That when the atmosphere becomes filled with lying and cheating, and especially in the legal and the leaders and the legal system, all based upon lies, then the atmosphere becomes polluted. When the atmosphere becomes polluted, the trees and the plants and everything becomes polluted, and the animals and then the food that the people eat all becomes polluted, and they become sick. They become sick.
Maharaj, from like a rational development of that, if Jagannath Prabhu, Purushottam Prabhu is looking for a rational development, it's like material nature, right? From the mind of, like you're saying, falsity and lies, into the gross nature of the Akash. The sounds are now expressing that false, and then from the ether, it's in the air, into the water, and then the water is taken by the beings, and the beings are, plants, and then the plants are being eaten by animals, animals being eaten by humans. The air itself is being breathed by humans, water is being, so, the rational development through the gross material elements, from what Sridhar Maharaj said. No?
We can't, with two mics, it's difficult because there's feedback.
Yes,
But yeah, that is just what I said. That's what I put in that article. These things are there. So I think like that, maybe that is possible. I mean, it's possible. That was his opinion, and Sridhar told that's his opinion. And we can see that, I think, when, if a person can be purified by hearing about the pure things, the higher things, we can purify our consciousness by those higher things. Then why not? The consciousness can also become contaminated
by the lower things,
by so many unfavorable things, immoral. I mean, lying to the people and cheating the people like that, even in the courts, or even if the highest leaders of our country are telling things that are not true. And trying to just win the people over by politics, and then how will that affect everything? How can we expect any good thing to come from that? And it should be stopped. When Krishna says that whenever there is a, what is that verse? Whenever there's so when there's a decline, when there's the decline of religion, then I come. I don't want the people to become irreligious. I don't want the people to become degraded, monsters, liars, and cheaters. That's not what human civilization is meant for. So when that happens, I come to stop the whole thing. I press the pause button. You see, this whole world is like on pause. It's on pause. You know, when you pause the video, that's what happened. He pushed the pause button. Hey, wait a minute. What are you doing? We're going in the wrong direction. Of course, we know it's been going in the wrong direction for a long time. I feel. And we may all feel like that. And in some crazy way it is going. Then let's stop for a minute. Let's think. How long does it have to go on like that? What are we doing?
Maharaj, people are still not serious.
Okay, then they're going to have to suffer some more then. And it's for their own good, because they're going in the wrong direction. Better to pause, better to stop it than just to keep going headlong and on into hell. Right?
We're paying a heavy karmic toll right now, Maharaj, right? It's a very heavy karmic. We're paying a very heavy karmic toll right now.
Whatever, you know.
Yeah, but like what I feel is the problem is that like all of us feel the same about it. But the people, those who are lying, cheating, and doing bad deeds, they were doing them and they continue doing them, and they see nothing wrong with what they are doing.
Yes.
That's the problem. And even what is going on our planet doesn't change their consciousness. Because you see now, yesterday, maybe even today, they come out on the streets and they organize protests. You heard about that?
Yes.
In Michigan.
It's just like mind-blowing for us, for conscious people, to see them, but for them, it's just we are the enemies.
Another thing is this. Sometimes it's necessary for bad things to happen so that the good people will, whatever is good within them will come out. And they will try, just like I'm noticing in this Democratic Party, they had so many people wanting to become president because they were all frustrated with how it was going on without them. So they all became, I'm ready to do something to change everything. They were presenting some very drastic evolutionary ideas also because they were getting so frustrated with the way things were going. So like that. When things get very bad, those good people will say, no, I can't sit silent anymore. I must do something. And then they try to make some change. Hopefully that will be that will happen. That people will think, okay, now we had enough of this. We had enough of this going in the wrong direction. Let's try to make some right direction. So our ideas like that also. No, we want people to understand that God consciousness, Krishna consciousness is the right direction to go in.
See, like maybe 200 years ago, it was simpler. In a situation like that, people who are called have-nots, they would arm themselves and they would go and they would have a revolution. They would kill the haves and and then, and the problem is resolved. And yeah, like, well, right now, it will never happen like this, that there's going to be a revolution in the United States, that the conservatives, the Trump's followers are going to be killed. There is no way.
So then nature will take care of it.
Yeah.
Nature will arise.
Yeah. You see, like my girlfriend sent me a text and she said, I hope a virus kills Trump. And I replied to her and I said, well, I hope so too, but the bad thing is a virus doesn't kill a virus. Because he is a virus. He infected our country.
Hare Krishna. Well, I don't want to say I think like that too, but anyhow, we have to be compassionate to him also. He's doing what he understands, but we may not agree. Anyhow, somehow may all be working to help him understand also. What's that?
Maharaj, sometimes I feel Krishna does things in a very drastic way, but Mahaprabhu does things in like more in a compassionate way. Sometimes Krishna has to kill the demons.
Yes. Yes. Vinashaya Chaduskritama. Anyhow, let's see. We just keep a positive mood about your own development, your own progress, and have confidence that those who need correction, they will get that. Hopefully that will come to them and things will go on in a proper way. Let's see. We can only, our position is very small. How much can we do as far as that's concerned? We can try to encourage one another to go on in a positive way, Krishna conscious way, and encourage others also. And then we see what happens with the others who don't want to listen to anything. Hopefully, the Lord will be merciful to them also and give them an insight into how to go in a proper way by seeing those who are doing that in a very humble but consistent way. They may understand eventually. If not, we have to leave it to Krishna to take care of everything. And we have that faith. We have that faith. Why not? He is God. He can do anything. He can do anything. So,
I think
Acharya Maharaj,
yes?
Srila Acharya Maharaj used to say Krishna consciousness is the path of strongest faith.
Yeah.
And when I speak with my friends and I see how angry they are with the situation and with the political situation, what I observe among us, we are more positive people. You hear me?
Yes. What are you saying?
Well, I'm saying that when I talk to my friends about the situation, I notice that very many of them are very angry. And anger is not actually like a good emotion. Because when a person is angry, he cannot or she cannot think straight, and they can do a lot of bad things, and things like that. But what I observed among the Krishna followers, that we have a positive outlook on everything. Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Why not? We are very hopeful. Even though we have no hope, we still have hope. Hope beyond hope. That's transcendental mentality.
Parama Karuna.
Yes. Huh? Highest mercy, not supreme mercy. Anyhow, anyone else like to say something before we go?
Your class was very beautiful, Maharaj, with all the songs and with the discussions and with the participation of all the devotees.
Ajay Prabhu, how are you doing? How's everybody there?
Good, Prabhuji.
Good.
Got some disturbance from the kids and the phone.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but apart from that, everything was good.
Okay.
Your office is still closed?
Yeah, I'm working from home. Yeah, until middle of May 15th, I think they told me.
From I heard that they are opening again in USA all the things, office and everything.
Yeah, we're grounded till May 3rd here on the West Coast, but I think they will probably extend it a bit more.
Also, if anyone is very thirsty for Harikatha, every day at 8 a.m., Shanta Maharaj is having a very nice class on his Facebook page. So
I am trying to do like a puppet without any realization, but I will be happy, blessed by your assistance. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. My Dandavats.
Dandavat Maharaj.
Maharaj, you are doing Ekadasi today?
Ekadasi, yes.
Yes.
Dandavat. Jai Sripad Madhava Puri Maharaj ki
Jai.
Aveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Shanta Maharaj, I want to speak with you also.
Okay, Maharaj. By Skype, Maharaj?
WhatsApp.
Or Maharaj, you want to speak now?
WhatsApp.
Oh, WhatsApp. Okay.